Hey guys, it's Bevan here, and in this video I'm going to walk you through how to bake one of our favorite pot bread recipes. Pot bread is basically any bread that you bake inside a cast iron pot, and this is done in either a wood fire oven or over some coals like we're going to do today. Now, pot bread is also known as potbrood in Afrikaans, or sometimes Dutch oven bread, and it's a great addition to any braai or barbecue or campfire dinner. Let's start by taking a look at some of the hardware you're going to need. So first up, you're obviously going to need a cast iron bread pot. Now these come in all different shapes and sizes. Many different brands make them, but really what you're looking for is one that has a lid like this one. You want this lip over here because we're going to be putting hot coals on the lid, and we want that lip to make sure that the coals stay up there. But while I'm talking about the pot, here's one quick little tip for you. When you store these, you want to make sure they're stored in a very dry place. Moisture is the enemy of these cast iron pots because they're prone to rust. One other thing you can do is use a little bit of cooking oil when storing as well. Just keep enough in the pot to cover the bottom. What that's going to do is prevent moisture from contacting the sides and causing rust inside the pot, and you definitely don't want that. Next thing we're going to look at is the fuel we need, and here I've got some hardwood charcoal, and that's ideal because what you want is something that is going to burn for a very long time. These papery, light, sort of easy to burn, quick to burn charcoals, they're no good. You need hardwood charcoal or else a densely packed briquette. And with that out the way, we can take a look now at some of our ingredients. So first up, we use cake flour and baking powder. You could substitute this out for self-rising bread powder, or bread flour I should say, but that's not so readily available here in Taiwan where we are. So this cake flour baking powder mix works really well for us. Next, we add some soup powder. This gives the bread a little bit of taste, a nice salty taste. So you can kind of go with whatever flavor you like. We normally go with creamy mushroom or brown onion soup, something like that. If you don't want to use a soup powder, a little bit of salt will do the trick as well. Next, we have corn. This is just regular corn in the can. You can also use sweet corn if you like, creamed corn. And if you go for that option, then you're obviously going to want to have a little bit more of the dry mix in your dough to compensate for the extra moisture that will come from this. Or else you're going to want to use a little bit less beer, and that is our final ingredient over here. So now that we have everything together, we're basically ready to start baking. Now let's take a look at some of the steps involved. Now first things first, we're going to want to get a fire going so we can get those coals on the go while we prepare the bread dough and the pot. You'll want to designate 2 areas within your fireplace, one for cooking and one for keeping the fire going. Once you get it started, the bread will bake in the cooking area, and you can use the fire area to keep hot coals coming to replace those ones that are burning out in the cooking area. Once you've got your fire lit and the coals are getting going, you can start mixing your bread dough. Start by adding 500 grams of cake flour into a mixing bowl. Add 6 teaspoons of baking powder, a sachet of soup powder, and mix everything together until it's spread nice and evenly. Make a well in the middle of the mix and start adding the wet ingredients little by little. Keep mixing as you go. You want to end up with a very goopy dough. If it's too runny, then add a little bit more flour until you get that mix nice and thick. Next, you'll need to prepare the pot, and you're going to do that by cleaning out the old storage oil with a rag and adding some new cooking oil. Add just enough to fill the bottom and cover all the sides when you swivel the pot around. Put the dough into the pot and let it stand for about 10 to 15 minutes. By this time, your coals should be ready to go. Place the pot in the cooking area of the fireplace and surround the base with coals. Try not to let the coals touch the pot directly, but have them just off the surface to prevent any ultra hot spots that will burn the bread inside. Finally, add some coals to the lid and get that heat going from above. Leave the bread to bake for around 50 to 60 minutes and come back and check the coals as you go to replace the ones that are burning out with new ones from the fire. After about 50 minutes, check to see if the bread is baked. To do this, pull the pot off the fire, remove the coals from the lid, and open it up. Poke the bread with a knife and check to see if there's any gooey dough sticking to the blade. If so, you need a little bit more time. If not, you're good to go. Pop the bread onto a cutting board, slice it up, and you're ready to serve. We usually smear our bread with butter or honey while it's still warm, but you can go for anything you prefer. And that's it for our pot bread recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you give it a go. And if you do, please comment below and let us know how it was. And until next video, bye-bye.